So today I've been busy installing piezometers, and a piezometer is just an open pipe down to depth, and it's got slots in the bottom to allow water table moist water into the bore. And what we do over time is come out and measure that water table to see how it fluctuates after rain or dry summers and see where it is. In this particular case, this bore is 4.4 metres down from the top of this, so this is about 1 metre from the surface. You should be able to hear that noise. That's the fox whistle as it hits the surface of the water table. I can read what this is, and it's at the moment it's 4.16 metres from here, so it's effectively 3.16 metres from the surface is the current water table. Yeah, so we're at the second piezometer, and this is somewhat down the slope. It's probably 1.5 to 2 metres. I haven't surveyed in yet, lower in elevation than the one we were just at. And you'll probably find, as we've come down, the sand will be getting shallower, less sand, and the clay will be coming closer to the surface. So we expect the water table to be a lot closer. And in the log of the bore here, we actually struck clay at 1.6 metres in this bore. So the sand only really went down to 65, 70 centimetres. Extremely different to the one up there where the sand was down to nearly 3 metres. And we actually went into a saturated clay sand to 2 metres, and then from 2 metres down to 2.45, it was just dry clay again. So the water table was sitting on a very tight, dry, reddish clay at just over 2 metres. The water table's already very close to the surface here, 1.1 metre. Not bad. We'll get a good taste of the next one, see what it's like, but that's very fresh, so it's very good quality water. So we're now at the third piezometer that's been installed today, and this one's right at the absolute base of the dune. And it's just before it breaks out to the surface, which we'll see in the final bore. This piezometer, the soils here were sand only to about 25 centimetres, and then the sand increased sandy clay loam with very wetness. It was extremely saturated, the soil. And then at 1.5 metres, we actually struck high, hard limestone pebbles. It was a layer of limestone pebbles, and then it went into a very heavy clay at 1.7 metres. And from 1.7 to 2.4 metres, it was just a yellow heavy clay. 1.35 metres, 35 centimetres below the natural surface, so extremely close to the surface. Rainfall quality almost. Absolutely no taste of salt there at all, so it's going to be really interesting to see when we take a sample and measure it back in the office just what the salinity is. But this would be perfect water for any use you want. I'm guaranteed it would be less than 1,000 EC. So here we are at the final piezometer, number 4. This piezometer was again just installed today. It's only just about 5-10 metres from where the bare scald happens of the salt pan, and the clay on this site started right at 15 centimetres. So there was only a fraction of sand here, and then we went straight into heavy clay below 15 centimetres, and it just continued on to a white mottled red clay all the way down to 2.5 metres. And I detected no moisture, free moisture available in the soil profile as I augured this hole. And I'll just see what's happening here now. Absolutely bone dry. So we got that down to 3.5 metres. Absolutely no moisture here, so what's going on? So what we're actually happening here is that the moisture physically comes out just at the break of slope here where the tree line is and runs over the surface here, and it's not actually a water table that's causing this problem of all this bare area with, there's 10 or 20 acres here of scald, bare salt pan, that over the years has bared off, crop doesn't grow, it gets saturated, and then salts over the years that slowly came up to the surface. A little bit of seepage comes out, a bit of runoff comes out and saturates it, and just left with an absolutely unusable, non-productive area. Yeah, we just moved along the dune here a bit, and we actually come to one of the breakout points where the excess moisture is physically running out that break of slope through the Kabungian trees and into this area here, which is saline. You can see where I'm standing, absolutely saturated, sloshy as, and you've got the water physically running out. Even now, it hasn't rained here for a couple of days, breaking out and running down through the paddock. So obviously a lot of moisture not being utilised at this stage by the cropping system. And the challenge is, how do we stop this? and make it hopefully economic to utilise it further back up, because moisture is just the limiting thing in the Mallee, and we can't afford to have moisture like this going to waste, and not only going to waste but causing financial loss below.